beginners think creating repeating patterns requires complicated software or advanced drawing skills. But in reality, pattern design becomes much easier once you understand the structure behind it. Hi, I'm Rinmay, an artist and surface pattern designer from India, and I'm really passionate about helping beginners learn how to create patterns in a simple and clear way using tools like Procreate and Adobe Fresco. When I started my own journey, I often felt overwhelmed by all the technical steps. So now I share simple, approachable methods that make the process easier and more fun without needing big, complicated software. In this mini masterclass, I'm going to show you how to create an intertwined floral repeating pattern in Procreate using a very simple geometric layout. Instead of guessing where motifs should go, you'll see how layouts guide placement and help patterns feel balanced and natural. I'll walk you through the whole process step by step, from sketching the motifs to creating the pattern using my pattern creating canvas, and then testing the repeat and exporting the finished pattern tile that you can upload to print on demand sites or add to your growing portfolio. If you think that creating patterns in Procreate is tedious, frustrating, or difficult, then join me in this mini masterclass because I'll show you that it's easier than you think. When you join the masterclass, you'll also receive the pattern creation canvas for Procreate, the layout template used in the class, and a fun color palette used in the demo. So you can follow along and create your own pattern easily. You can also download all the free resources by clicking on the link below this video. If you have been curious about surface pattern design but didn't know where to begin, then this masterclass is going to show you that creating patterns is much simpler than you think. So let's get started. Before we jump into Procreate, I want to briefly talk about why pattern design can feel confusing when you are starting out and how layout templates can help you. Every repeating pattern is built on three basic things: motifs, which are the individual drawings, repeat structure that determines how the pattern repeats, and layout, which controls how the motifs are arranged within that repeat. One of the hardest parts in the beginning is placing your motifs intuitively or randomly and still getting a pattern that flows well when it repeats. And along with that, you have to also think about the color palette and the scale of the pattern. You might create something that looks good while you're building it, but once it repeats, it can feel a bit off, either too crowded, too empty, or not quite balanced. And in tools like Procreate, you don't always see the full repeat clearly while you're building it. So you're often placing elements without really knowing how everything will come together in the final pattern. That's where layouts make a big difference. Layout templates help you structure your design from the beginning so you're not guessing where things should go. They guide the eye, balance negative space, and create a sense of rhythm and flow in your pattern. They also influence how your pattern feels overall, whether it looks busy or calm, modern or traditional, playful or structured. And most importantly, they give you a framework. So even if you're not placing everything intuitively yet, your pattern still comes together in a balanced way. Now let me show you the setup that I'll be using for this masterclass, and you'll be able to download this pre-made canvas template in the description below this video. So let's get started with the pattern creation process. To make this easy to follow along, I have given some free resources in which you will get this pattern making canvas. So if you go inside this canvas, in the layers, you'll find the reference images. If you want, you can just delete it or maybe make it invisible. This is the reference to show you which quadrant or which side to flip to make a pattern. So this is a pre-made canvas where you get these selections from 1 to 8, which you will find if you tap on the selection and then you tap on save and load, and you'll find all the selections here. Don't worry, I will walk you through all of this. I'm just showing you what you're getting inside the free resource pack. So you'll get this pre-made canvas where you can flip the quadrants to make a pattern really easily. You don't have to manually drag everything to the corners or to the sides, which will make the whole process really easy for you and also avoid any manual error that can occur if you're dragging the canvas yourself. Like you may get a pixel gap or white line or things like that, which can be avoided if you use a pattern creation canvas. You'll also see the layout here and a few layers where you can draw and also create the background. But you can also create the layout layer yourself using the stamp brush. So if you tap on the brush, you will see these brushes, which is also a part of the free resource pack. And in this set of brushes, you will get a layout brush and a drawing brush, 2 stamp brushes, and also 2 texture brushes. I'll show you how to use all of this. In the resource pack, you'll also get this free color palette that you can use if you want to follow along with me. So first, to get started, I will duplicate the canvas, which you can do by swiping on it towards the left and then tap on duplicate. This will make sure that you always have a backup which you can use later for your other patterns. So here, if you want, you can just make this one invisible or maybe delete it by swiping it towards the left and tap on delete. I've given the layout layer, but if you want, you can also draw it yourself. You just need to stamp it. So create a new layer by tapping on the plus sign here. Then go to the brush panel and then select the quarterfoil brush. I'll make this one invisible and tap on the screen once. Then tap on the move tool here and then tap on fit to canvas at the bottom, and it will make sure that it is covering the whole canvas. Even if it doesn't, you don't have to worry about it because this is just a reference and we are not going to include it in our final tile. So after doing that, you can just tap on N here and reduce the opacity and keep it on multiply so that you can still see it even if you draw over it. I just do this out of habit. You can do it or you can also keep it on normal. Anything is fine. So now I'll tap on the background layer and I'll tap on the color panel and I'll take this background color. At this point, any color is okay because we will first sketch the layout, but I'll just start with this color and I'll drag and drop it onto the canvas. You can also tap on the background layer once and tap on fill layer to fill the canvas. Then I'll tap on the draw here layer where we are going to draw our motifs. So I'll take a dark color. I'll just take a black color. So if you double tap here, you'll get a pure black. If you double tap here, you'll get a pure white. So taking the black color, I'll take the outliner brush for the sketch also. So my purpose of taking this simple geometric quarterfoil layout is to show you that even if this is a very simple layout, you can still create complex looking intertwined patterns using this layout. So you don't have to use the commonly used symmetry option that you usually see online, and you can make a complex pattern using this simple layout. This layout is great because it has these curved sides which will help us guide the branches and add a good flow to the pattern. So here I created the background first because later we will need the background to test the pattern. So it's better to create it from the very beginning, and now I'll start drawing the or sketching the motifs. So I have drawn the sketch here already, and let me just walk you through the whole process. So to draw the sketch, you can take any color. I usually just go with black, and using the same outliner brush, I'll start drawing the sketch. So first of all, I want to make use of this rounded edges of the quarterfoil layout. So what I'll do is I'll start placing my branches in such a way that the shape doesn't look very obvious, and we can get a good flow. So I'll just start from the bottom here. Okay, first make sure to select the layer you're drawing. So I'll tap on the sketch layer, and then I'll just start drawing. So I'll just make these C curves and these S curves like this, and just try to put the branches around these rounded corners so that you'll get a really good flow. And from here I'll start joining the other branches, and I'll even cross over the other branches. So I'll just join some smaller branches from the bigger ones, and you just have to draw these S curves and C curves like this. And then from here I'll create another branch like this, and another branch like this. Now at this point, it's better to think about how you're going to place your bigger motifs first, so that it will help you in getting a good flow in your layout. So what I'll do is, in this case I'm drawing flowers, so I will first think about where I want to place my bigger flowers. So one trick I always use is to draw my motifs in odd numbers, which means in 3, 5, 7, and so on. And it somehow helps me create a very good flow in my layout. So you can try it out and see if that works for you also. So here what I'll do is I'll put one of my big flowers maybe here, and one I'll put here, and I'm trying to just eyeball the gap between them and see how I can place it in such a way that then they are not very close to each other, and also they are not like in a proper line or something like that, which we can always change later also. You don't have to worry about that. But during the sketching stage also, you can think about all of these things. And here you can be as rough as possible, since it is not the final drawing or anything. So as you can see, I will place the bigger flowers like this, and then I'll just try to place the smaller flowers now. So I'll do the same with the smaller ones also. I will place it in odd numbers so that it will give me a good flow. And then I can put one branch here. And don't worry about crossing the edge of this layout, because that is important in breaking the rigidity of the shape. So it's okay if you are crossing it somewhere. Here also, as you can see, I am crossing it. Okay, so now we have 5 small flowers and 3 bigger ones. And now we can just fill up the rest with leaves. And here what you can do is you can start overlapping the branches and the leaves so that it appears to be intertwined and a complex repeat. So what I'll do is I'll just maybe bring a branch like this, and I can draw my leaves here. I can draw one leaf here maybe, and another one here. Try to face the leaves in different direction. So anytime you want to redo something, you have to tap with 3 fingers, and if you want to undo something, tap with 2 fingers. Here also I will do the same. And also take advantage of this curved shape and try to place your leaves in this curvy way so that it will look even better. I can bring one leaf from this flower and cross over it on this branch and maybe draw it here, and then another leaf like this. You can also draw the leaves that are behind these flowers, the bigger flowers. But remember, if you're doing it with one flower, you need to do it at several other places, because otherwise, if you do it only with this flower, the viewer's eye is going to go to this particular thing, and this is going to pop up a lot in your pattern. So it's always better if you're overlapping a leaf with one flower, maybe you can overlap it with another flower. Let's do it like this. So to erase with the same brush, you can just tap and hold on the eraser, and it will give you the same brush that you can use to erase. I'll also place a leaf here, maybe like this. Now at this point, I'm just thinking about how I can fill up the space and the gaps here. And let's see, can we bring one branch here maybe? No, we can overlap another leaf here. And also it depends on you how tightly you want to pack your patterns, and or how sparsely you want to space the elements. That's totally depends on your style. So feel free to do that, whatever you want to do here. I just like packing my patterns, so that's why I'm doing it like this, but you are allowed not to do this also. So I'll overlap this over here. Now wherever the leaves are overlapping, I'll just take the eraser, I press and hold it, and I'll just erase the branches because I want these leaves to be above the branches. But here I want the leaves to be below the flower. So I'll show you how you can draw this later. And I'll just quickly erase wherever it's required. And at this point, this is looking okay. Maybe I can just place another leaf just to break the boundary. So try not to place the motifs like completely pointing outside the layout, but you can cross it a little bit and break the boundary like this, but still you're not very further away from the layout. I hope this is making sense. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we will repeat this pattern and we'll see how our layout is looking. There are different types of repeats that you can use to create a pattern. The first one, or the simplest one, is the grid or the full drop repeat. Then there's also the half drop repeat and half brick repeat. But for this mini masterclass, we will be using the full drop, or also known as the grid repeat method, to create the pattern. I will show you how to use the pattern creation kit to create a full drop repeat in Procreate. So here what I'll do is, let me just delete the older sketch, and if you want you can duplicate your whole group here. If you want to keep a backup, you can slide it towards the left and then tap on duplicate, but I'm okay with using this group, so I'll go with this one. You can also rename the groups here. like this is sketch 1. So once this is selected, what I'll do is I'll tap on this selection tool here, and here you will tap on save and load at the bottom, and you'll find all these selections. Now you don't have to worry about the other selections because we are going to only use selection 1 2 3 4, which is for a full drop or a grid repeat pattern. There are different types of patterns like the half drop or the half break, but you don't have to worry about it because I'll provide you with a PDF guide where you'll have some information about all those types of repeating patterns. So yeah, for this masterclass I'll be using the full drop or the grid repeat. So I'll tap on the save and load option, and always make sure that you have a background layer. You can also keep your sketch layer inside the group or not, because after repeating you won't need your layout layer, but if you want you can just keep it here. So what I'll do is I'll tap on the selection tool, I'll tap on save and load, and then tap on selection 1, and now tap on the move tool at the top here, and you can see this quadrant is selected. Now I'll tap on flip horizontal and flip vertical to flip the canvas. I'll deselect it, select it again, tap on save and load, then tap on selection 2, then tap on the move tool. Okay, so sometimes while you are selecting, you may not see that it is getting selected. Once you tap on the move tool, you'll see that it is selected. But if you're worried that it is not getting selected, what you can do is you can just select your individual layers like this by swiping it towards right, and then you can tap on the selection tool and then tap on save and load, and then tap on selection 2, and you'll see that this is getting selected. So you can do that. If it doesn't show for you that it's getting selected or not, then you can do it this way. And then I'll do the same. I'll flip it horizontally and vertically. So I don't need to select all the layers because I know it is getting selected. I'll tap on the selection tool again, and then tap on save and load, and then on selection 3, tap on the move tool, and then flip horizontal, flip vertical. Deselect, select it again, tap on save and load, and tap on selection 4, then tap on the move tool and flip horizontal, flip vertical. Now at this point the whole canvas is always upside down, so for this pattern it won't matter because this is a intertwined pattern where every motif is facing a different direction. But if you're creating a directional pattern, like all your motifs are facing upwards or downwards or sideways, then in that case you need to definitely flip it once more to bring it to the right direction. But I always do it as a habit because sometimes you forget to do that, so I have just made it a habit to do it. And what I'll do is I'll just tap on the move tool while the whole group is selected, and tap on flip horizontal and vertical once more, and now it is facing the correct direction. And here I can just fill up this gap and our pattern will be done. You can make the layout layer invisible or delete it completely if you want, because once it is flipped you won't need it, but it's your choice whatever you want to do. So I'll tap on the sketch layer, and then I will draw the rest of the motifs. Now here I'll first place the bigger flowers so that I'll know how the whole pattern will look. Now three of my bigger flowers are here. Maybe I can place one here like this and one here. Now I have to keep in mind that these three are not in a line, which they are not, and these two are a bit closer. So what I'll do is I'll tap on the selection tool and just draw around this flower here, tap on the move tool and just move it like this just a little bit. Maybe I can overlap this leaf here. Yeah. So I'll erase this part, and this leaf will be overlapping this flower, and then I'll draw the branches. So like we did before, we are going to draw this S curves, and from here we will draw our C curves like this. Okay, you can overlap the branches like this, and you can make the leaves overlap the flowers also. So just think how you can make it look like a intertwined pattern while having a very good flow. And then try to place the smaller flowers now. So maybe I can also place one flower here. Okay, so these two branches facing the same direction will not look good. So what I'll do is I'll do one branch like this here, and maybe another flower here. I can erase this leaf here or make it smaller, and fill the rest with leaves like this while overlapping. Okay, I think we are done here. Let's see, let's test it. One more thing I can do is I can maybe join these two like this. Now you can take some more time to draw the sketch, but for the sake of this class, let's just say that this is good enough for now. And what we are going to do is let's test it and see how it's looking as a pattern. So to test the pattern, what I'll do is close the group, and with three fingers swipe downwards on the screen like this, and then tap on copy all, then swipe down again, and then tap on paste, and you'll get this flattened image. You just have to duplicate it for 3 more times so that you have 4 layers in total. Now tap on the first layer, tap on the move tool, and here tap on the blue dot at the top left corner. I don't like dragging the canvas to test it. I try to avoid as much manual processes as possible because that helps me keeping my repeats clean, and I don't get any white lines or any pixel gaps later. So just use this method to test your pattern and you'll get a perfect repeat. So here what I'll do is I'll type the size that is half of the canvas size. So in my case, it is 3600 pixel. If you're using the pattern creation canvas template that I have given you, then your canvas is also 3600 pixel. So here I have to type half the size, which is 1800. Then I'll go to the layers panel, tap on the next image, tap on the move tool, and then tap on the blue dot at the top right corner and do the same. Type 1800, which is half of the canvas size. Now never tap anywhere on the screen while this is selected because you may get a pixel gap which you don't want. So directly tap on your layers or maybe deselect the move tool, but do not tap anywhere on the screen. So tap on the next image, tap on the move tool. Now as you can see, I'm even zooming in and out from the side. So don't do it on the canvas, do it on the side here. And then you can tap on the blue dot at the bottom left corner and type 1800, and then tap on the last image and tap on the blue dot at the bottom right corner and type 1800, and then you can just merge all of this by pinching with 2 fingers, and this is how a pattern will look. So you can make it really small or just squint your eyes to see if there's any prominent gap that you need to fill. One thing I can see is that maybe I can just place a leaf like this here, and I think this gap is a little bit more. And another thing is these three are in a line, as you can see, which maybe we can avoid. So let's see. Okay, so I think this flower and these two are in a line like this, which is not a problem here as this is a intertwined and very complex looking pattern. So I think you can get away with this, but if you want to rectify something like this, then what you can do is you can just go to the sketch and take your selection tool and just draw around your sketch like this, where whichever motif you want to move, and then you can maybe shift it just a little bit like this, maybe towards the bottom, and then you can change the other motifs also. You have to adjust all the other motifs. You can erase it and do it again, but for the sake of this class, let's just go with this sketch, and now we can move to drawing the motifs. So I'll delete this test, and here I'll create a new layer on top of the background, and on the sketch layer tap on N here and just reduce the opacity and put it on multiply so that you can see the sketch even if you draw over it. As this is already a repeating pattern, you can just start from this point. You don't have to go back to the original sketch which we had done earlier, but if you want, you can also do that. So you have to just repeat the canvas once again. That means flip the four quadrants again like we did before. But even if you start drawing at this point, it won't matter because this is already a seamlessly repeating tile, and you can just start drawing from this stage, and then you can flip once and you can draw the rest of the motifs and your pattern will be ready. I think that's the best way to go because you want to make this process as fast as possible so that you can spend more time in drawing your motifs and not in repeating the pattern or figuring out if it's repeating properly or not. So what I'll do is I'll just start drawing, and I'll use the same outliner brush, but I'll use the stamp brushes also to create the flowers, and I'll show you how. So I'll first take the outliner brush to draw the branches, and I'll take this darker green color from the palette that I have given you with the free resource pack. So if you have downloaded it, then you would have this palette also. I'll take this dark green color and I'll change the size of my brush. Let's keep it at 32%. And here I'll just start drawing the branches wherever I can. You can draw as close to the edge as possible, but I try not to cross the edge because we can do that after we repeat the pattern once more. And I'm just drawing the branches like this. Anytime you want to undo anything, just tap with 2 fingers and redo it with 3 fingers. Okay, wherever possible, I have drawn the branches. Now I'll take the 4 petal flower stamp brush and I'll draw the bigger flowers with this brush. So I'll take this lighter purple color, and you can adjust the size here. So let's see if the size is good or not. Yeah, it's looking good. We can decrease it a little bit. Let's keep it at 37%. You can also tap on the plus sign here. Once you tap on this bar, you can tap on plus sign and it will save the brush size for you. So before creating the flowers, you create a new layer by tapping on the plus sign here. I like to keep the colors separate because that just helps me to recolor the pattern later if I want to, or make any changes really easily. So create each color on a different layer. You can tap on the plus sign here to create a new layer. And also, if you want, you can keep on renaming your layers at this point. That just helps in organizing the file better. So I'll tap the flowers like this. It may take 1-2 taps to get the actual position, but even if you think somewhere the position is not correct, you can just take the selection tool, draw around the flower. Don't worry about the branches because they are on a different layer, and tap on the move tool and then maybe move it, and you can also rotate it just a little bit to get that position. And I'm not drawing this flower now, we'll do it after repeating it. Then I'll create another layer on top of the flower. It doesn't matter, you can always move the layers by dragging it like this. So for now let's have it on top of the flower layer, and I'll take this 5 petal flower brush, and then I will take this pink color, and let's see, it's at 6%. So let's see if I like the size. Yeah, it's looking good. So you can save the size like this also. So I'll tap the pink while trying to keep it separate like this. Maybe let's just have these 3 pink flowers, and I'll also take this yellow and I'll create a new layer again, and then tap the yellow flowers like this. Okay, we need to draw a branch here and one more here, and after repeating it, let's see if we need to do any more changes. And now I can just draw the leaves. So I'll take the outliner brush, and for the leaves I'll create a new layer on top of the branches layer, and then taking this lighter green color, I'll just quickly draw the leaves. Now if you want, you can just fill the shape like this, but what I'll do is I'll just first create the shape of the leaves like this quickly, and make sure the shapes are closed. The leaves that are overlapping the flowers, you also need to close the shapes. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just drag the color onto one leaf, and then tap on continue filling on the top here, and tap inside the shapes like this to quickly fill it up. Okay, and now I'll add some details to the flowers, and then we can move to the next process. So I'll just speed up the process here, but let me show you how I'm going to do it. So taking the same outliner brush, I'll take this darker purple color for the bigger flowers. I'll create a layer on top of the purple flower, and you can make the sketch layer invisible so that it's better to draw like this. And what I'll do is I'll just create some details, very minimal details like this. You can even outline the shapes a little bit so that it's defined even more, and also you can like vary your shape by using the outline so that all the flowers doesn't look exactly the same. So I'll do the same with the pink flowers also. I'll take the darker pink color here and create a layer on top of the pink flowers, and maybe draw something. Maybe I'll just decrease the size here and draw something like this, and in the same way I can outline the flower like this. And for the leaves, I'll take this dark green color here and create a layer on top of the leaf layer, and like I did with the flowers, I will do very minimal details like this. So I'm just outlining the leaf a little bit and just drawing this few veins, that's it. So that's what I'm going to do with all the flowers. For the yellow also I'll do the same. I'll just quickly draw this, and then we can move to the next step, which is flipping the canvas to draw the rest of the motifs. So let me just quickly draw all of this. So I have drawn all the details. Now one thing to remember is when you're drawing these details, keep the line weight same for all the elements. That's what will also add to making your layout look really good and your pattern very professional. It's better to save the size of your brush. So like here I have used the size 11% with the same outliner brush, but save it and you can draw the line details with the same size. So now what we are going to do is we will flip the canvas once and draw the rest of the motifs. So to do that, I'll make the sketch layer visible, and here you can duplicate the canvas once so that you will have your original. Now you can rename it as original, and maybe this one I'll rename as working block or pattern block, whatever you want. And once it is selected, I'll tap on the selection tool, then tap on save and load, and tap on selection 1, then tap on the move tool and flip horizontal and flip vertical. I'll deselect it, select it again, tap on save and load, and then tap on selection 2, then on the move tool and flip horizontal, flip vertical. Then I'll do it again, tap on selection 3, tap on the move tool, flip horizontal, flip vertical. And I'll then do the same with the last selection, that is selection 4. Tap on the move tool now and flip it horizontally and vertically. And like we did before, I'll just tap on the move tool once more and flip it horizontally and vertically. Now the only thing you have to do is draw the rest of these motifs and your pattern will be ready. So I'll quickly do that. I'll draw the branches first. You can erase and redraw if necessary, like I am doing here. Also, I want to tell you that don't worry if you don't get it in the first time or the second time or even the third, because sometimes it takes some practice to develop that design eye and to understand how you want to place your motives in such a way that everything looks balanced. But keep creating the patterns, and I'm sure once you get the hang of it, you'll understand how to do that really easily. So I'm just quickly drawing all the motifs here, and like I had shown before, I'll draw the shape of the leaves first and just fill it up. Okay, I think we have drawn all the motifs, and like I did before, I'll just quickly add some details and we will be ready to test the pattern. Okay, I think I'm done with drawing everything. Okay, I can just add one more leaf here just to fill up the gap a little better. Okay, I think it's looking good enough to test. Don't try to perfect it a lot, because in the age of AI, the more imperfection, the better. So if your lines are getting out of the flowers or the leaves, that's okay. That's what makes you human. So, okay, now we are ready to test it. So I'll close the group, and like we did before, I'll swipe with 3 fingers towards down on the screen, tap on copy all, swipe down again, and then tap on paste. I'll just duplicate the image for 3 more times so that I have 4 in total. I'll tap on the first image, tap on the move tool, and then tap on the blue dot at the top left corner, and here we will type the size, that is half of the canvas size, which is 1800. I'll tap on the next image, tap on the move tool, tap on the blue dot at the top right corner and type 1800. Then tap on the next one, tap on the move tool, and then tap on the blue dot at the bottom left corner and type 1800, and then tap on the last image, tap on the blue dot at the bottom right corner and type 1800. And that's it. You can merge it, and as you can see, you have got a perfectly repeating pattern. There's no white line, there's no gap. Of course, if you want, you can make the layout even better. You can spend some more time while sketching the layout so that you can make the layout look even better. But for now, this is it. Okay, so if you want to add more interest to the pattern, you can add some textures to it. So these are repeating texture stamp brushes that you will get in the free resource pack. So I'll take this first texture and then I'll just take a black color. And then what I'll do is, you can do this with the original tile, or you can also do this with the smaller scale, whatever you want. And since this is a repeating pattern, so you don't have to worry if it will repeat properly or not. You just have to create a new layer on top. So let me create a new layer on top of the original tile like this. And here, let's rename it. While this brush is selected, increase the size to maximum and just tap it once on the screen, like on your pattern, and then tap on the move tool and then tap on fit to canvas, and it will cover the whole canvas. Now of course we don't want it to keep black, so what I'll do is I'll tap on N here, and here I usually go with overlay or soft light. So if I zoom in, you can see this subtle texture like this. You can also play with other blend modes like this divide. This is giving a different kind of texture, but I usually go with the overlay option. And if you want, you can even make it more subtle by decreasing the opacity here like this. Similarly, you can use the other texture also. So just select the texture brush and create a new layer. I'll make this one invisible, and you can tap on the screen once, tap on the move tool and then tap on fit to canvas so that it covers the whole tile. And then here you can go with the overlay option. You can also use both the texture to add even more interest to the pattern. So you can do that if you want. And also you can play around with the color of the texture. So you can maybe take this gray color and see how it looks. You can tap again once and follow the same steps, but you can play with the other blend modes, like for example you can use color burn here, and it will also give you a good texture. So you can do all these things. You can even, if you want the texture to be really prominent, you can also, duplicate the texture if that's what you want. So yeah, just play around with it and see what you like, and this is how you can use the texture brush. And now to save it, you can go to the actions menu by tapping on the wrench icon here, and then tap on share. And then if you want to share it online or maybe upload to any print on demand sites, you can just tap on JPEG or PNG depending on the requirement of the site. You can tap on JPEG, and then you can either save it as an image to your camera roll, or you can save it to your files folder by tapping on save to file. You can also save it to your Google Drive. If you tap on the three dots here, you can choose drive here, or any other cloud service like Dropbox. And if you want to save this smaller scale, then you have to create the texture again here on top of it, and then here you can save it again in a smaller scale. And also remember to name your file so that you always know what this pattern is about. So yeah, this is it. I hope you got a good idea of how to create a complex looking intertwined pattern using a very simple geometric layout. What we did today is actually just one part of how pattern design really works. Layouts, repeat types, spacing, motif relations, all these elements come together to create patterns that look balanced and professional. Once you start understanding how all of these pieces connect, pattern design becomes much easier and much more enjoyable. Today we explored one layout and one repeat method inside Procreate. And while this is a great starting point, what actually builds confidence is understanding how patterns work, practicing different layouts, repeating the process enough times, and having a clear workflow you can rely on. There are many other layouts, repeat types, and workflows that pattern designers use. Learning how these work together is what helps you create patterns consistently instead of guessing every time. And that's exactly what we focus inside Pattern Play Lab. Pattern Play Lab is a creative membership designed for beginners who want to learn how to create repeating patterns using tools like Procreate and Adobe Fresco. Inside the membership, we go much deeper into pattern design from foundational concepts to advanced workflows, so you can understand how patterns actually work, practice consistently without overwhelm, and build a clear and repeatable pattern design process. Inside the Pattern Play Lab, you'll get deep dive classes where we create patterns step by step, mini courses focused on layouts and structure, monthly themes so you always know what to create, resources like templates and pattern canvases, recorded Q&A sessions when you feel stuck, and a supportive community where you can share your art and your doubts and also learn together along with other creatives who are on a similar path. If you enjoyed this masterclass and want to keep building your skills step by step, I would love to invite you to join us inside the Pattern Play Lab. You can find the details and join through the link below. I hope this mini masterclass helped you feel confident and inspired you to try more layouts and create patterns in your own style. If you have any questions or doubts about this class or the membership, then you will find a form in the description to submit your questions, and I'll email the answers directly to your email, or you can directly reach out to me at hello@kalabymrinmay.com. Thank you so much for joining me in this class. I am truly so happy that you are here. Keep exploring, keep creating, and most of all, enjoy the process. See you next time. Bye.